Me now is a senior lecturer in security studies at King's College London, Dr. Andreas Krieg. So, Dr. Andreas, thank you very much for joining me. So, where are we with this supposed negotiation? Because we hear Israel is still firing rockets, but apparently Hamas has agreed the deal. So, where are we in it?
I think the truth is somewhere in between what Trump is posting and boasting about and obviously what's going on the ground. I mean, this was never going to be a dictate where Donald Trump comes up with a very limited sort of 20 points plan to an immensely complex problem, and Hamas would just swallow the pill, particularly as Israel makes some last-minute changes to the plan. But I think we're at a point of where negotiations can begin. I think both sides agree that a settlement needs to happen, that they have to come to an agreement, that the military sort of the war has taken its course, and now we have to find a diplomatic solution to it. So I think we have a massive Venn diagram for the first time in 2 years where both sides can really talk to one another and negotiate. The only issue is that we don't really have timelines attached to it. I mean, Trump is now putting pressure at timelines in terms of saying you have to come to an agreement sooner rather than later. But on extremely complex issues, I don't think you can just hammer out in a matter of hours or days. And I think that's kind of the issue. And as you already mentioned, Israel is not halting its military offensive, keeps on pounding Palestinians in Gaza, who obviously makes it much more difficult for Hamas to actually find the various hostages that they're still holding across the Gaza Strip. So I think, Israel needs to do a first step in stopping the bombardment, and then we need to have some serious negotiations, which going to start with a release of hostages after 2 years in captivity.
But interesting that you say that he shouldn't put a time limit on it, when the reason he's doing that, and he said it expressly, that because he wants the killing to stop. So it is wise to put a time limit on things. Otherwise, they just go open-ended. That's one of the gifts I think Trump has, is that in any business negotiation, when I used to do a lot of business, it was always never come off the phone without the next point of action, and also have a limit as to when that should be done. Because otherwise, you could have this open-ended thing that's supposedly meant to happen at some point in time, but in the meantime, more people are dying.
Absolutely right. I mean, we don't want to get into this kind of procrastination mode. And both sides, I mean, Hamas and Israel have this history of procrastination where they kind of feel the status quo is serving them, right? The war is serving Netanyahu because he stays in power. He doesn't have to have election. He doesn't have to face his coalition domestically. And it serves Hamas as well because, they obviously want to stay in power and manage whatever is left to manage. So, I mean, both sides are procrastinating in that respect. I get that point. What is important, though, is that there is a roadmap that we say, okay, first we negotiate the release of all hostages, but at the same time, Hamas will probably not surrender all their bargaining chips without getting some solid concessions from the Israelis. And so far, Israel has been very hesitant to commit to a full withdrawal from the Gaza Strip, and also have made it very clear that they're not committing to the creation of a Palestinian state, or at least to an avenue towards Palestinian statehood. And I think that is a sticking point that they need to hammer out now, get to some sort of agreement, and move forward. I think the pressure is also on the mediators. I mean, Qatar in particular, who's the chief negotiator here, and Qatar is very, very eager to get something going and bring it back to the Israelis and say, look, Hamas is agreeing to this, now the ball is in your court, and then Israel will have to take the next step. So I think diplomacy of small steps is important, but as you rightly say, it can't be indefinite. It has to be tied to some timetables.
Yeah, absolutely, totally. Thank you very much, Dr. Andreas Krieg. He's a senior lecturer in security studies at King's College London. Thank you for your thoughts.